Imagine a defensive line so terrifying, so relentless, that opposing quarterbacks lose sleep just looking at the schedule. Now, imagine that nightmare scenario unfolding in Philadelphia. A whisper is spreading through the league, a rumor that could potentially turn an already lethal defense into the most feared unit in modern football history. We're talking about the possibility of Max Crosby wearing midnight green. Is this the missing piece that guarantees a championship trophy, or is it nothing more than a dangerous distraction that could derail everything this team has built? Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. This isn't just about a potential trade. It is about the cold, hard reality of what it takes to survive in the brutal NFC East. The mere mention of a player like Crosby moving to Philadelphia sends shockwaves through the league. But before you get too excited or too skeptical, we have to peel back the layers of this story. We're going to look at the math, the locker room reality, and a high-stakes gamble that defines the modern NFL. But wait until you hear why the most influential voices in the game think this might actually be the wrong move for the franchise. Let's be brutally honest for a second. In the NFL, rumors are the currency of the offseason. Every year, we see names tossed around, trade machines burning up the internet, and fans dreaming of impossible rosters. But this one feels different. Max Crosby isn't just a player. He is a wrecking ball. He is the kind of athlete who changes the way an entire offense has to game plan. When you hear his name linked to a team as aggressive as the one in Philadelphia, you have to pay attention. However, we need to ground ourselves in reality. As of right now, there is no smoking gun. There are no frantic calls being made between front offices, and no pen is hitting paper. This is pure, unadulterated speculation, fueled by the fact that Philadelphia's front office has a reputation for being the most unpredictable, aggressive, and daring group in professional sports. If there is a big move to be made, they're usually the ones making it. So, why are people even talking about this? It starts with the obsession with dominance. The Philadelphia defense is already formidable, but in this league, good is the enemy of great. To win it all, you don't just want to be better than the team across from you. You want to make them feel like they're fighting a losing battle from the very first snap. Who's to blame for the endless trade rumors that keep fans up at night? Is it the media trying to stir the pot? Or is it just the nature of a league that never stops moving? Drop a name below and tell me if you think these rumors are just noise or if there's a deeper motive at play. While you're heading down to the comments, keep this in mind. Adding a star defender sounds like a dream, but football is a game of chess. Every move requires a sacrifice. If you bring in a talent like Crosby, you're not just clearing space on the roster. You are shifting your entire financial landscape. You are potentially sacrificing depth in other areas, and you're betting the farm on the idea that pass rushing pressure is the ultimate cure-all for a championship run. There's a fascinating debate happening right now among those who follow this team closer than anyone. The question isn't just could we get him? The question is should we? Some argue that the real weakness, if you can even call it that, isn't on the defense at all. Some believe the focus should be entirely on the other side of the ball. We're talking about weapons, playmakers, and the need for explosive offensive talent that can go toe-to-toe with the high-powered offenses of the modern era. Think about the sheer amount of resources a move like this would require. You're talking about high-round draft picks, the lifeblood of any sustainable franchise, and a salary cap hit that would make most general managers break out in a cold sweat. Is one player, no matter how elite, worth the risk of thinning out your roster elsewhere? And then there is the emotional weight of it all. What does it do to the existing locker room culture? These players work, bleed, and sweat together. When you bring a massive star, you change the chemistry. Sometimes it creates a surge of energy that carries a team to the promised land. Other times, it disrupts the flow, creates friction, and tears the foundation apart. But hold on, because we haven't even talked about the other side of this equation, the team that would be losing. You don't just give up a franchise cornerstone for a bag of footballs. If a team were to part ways with a player of that magnitude, they would be demanding a king's ransom. It would be a complete structural teardown for the selling team, a move that signals a total rebuild. This brings us to a crucial point in our investigation: the gap between fan desire and front office strategy. Fans look at the roster and see what if. The front office looks at the roster and sees, how do we win in 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years? They aren't playing a video game. They are managing human beings, massive contracts, and complex salary cap math that changes every single day. Let's talk about the quarterback situation for a moment. Everyone knows that the success of any championship team lives and dies with a man under center. If the goal is a Super Bowl, the offense needs to be firing on all cylinders. Some analysts are suggesting that the path to a trophy isn't through adding more defensive firepower, but through surrounding the quarterback with more weapons, more speed, and more versatility. It's about being able to put up 35 points on a Sunday if the game demands it. If you look at the history of recent champions, you see a trend. It's rarely about having one super unit that stands miles above the rest. It's about balance. It's about having a team that doesn't have a glaring weakness that can be exploited in the playoffs. Adding a superstar pass rusher is flashy. It sells jerseys. It gets the crowd on its feet. But does it fix the issues that might actually be holding the team back? We have to consider the ripple effects. If this trade were to happen, the pressure would be astronomical. The player would be expected to deliver from day one. The team would be expected to win it all, immediately. Anything less than a deep postseason run would be viewed as a catastrophic failure. Is that a burden a team is willing to take on? As we dig deeper, we realize that the most successful teams are the ones that manage the hype cycle the best. They don't let rumors dictate their strategy. They stay the course. They stick to the plan. They understand that winning in the NFL is a marathon, not a sprint. The temptation to make a splash
It's caught at the 30 by Devontae Smith. It really dictates
the
the defense.
are often the ones that are quiet, calculated, and long-term. The landscape of the NFL changes in the blink of an eye. One injury, one breakout season, one unexpected draft steal, and everything we think we know about the league is thrown out the window. That is the beauty of this sport. It is chaotic, it is unpredictable, and it is absolutely addictive. But let's get back to the core of the matter. We have a team that is already on the verge of greatness. They have the talent. They have the coaching. They have the drive. The question isn't whether they have enough to win. The question is how they push themselves over the edge. Is there a secret formula? Is there one move that clicks the puzzle together? Some will tell you that the championship window is always smaller than you think. They will say you have to go all in whenever you have a chance. If you have the space, if you have the assets, you take the shot. You don't wait for next year, because next year might never come. That is the philosophy that leads to blockbuster trades, headline-grabbing deals, and legacy-defining moments. On the other hand, the skeptics will tell you that desperation is the surest way to mediocrity. They will warn against mortgaging the future for a short-term fix. They will point to teams that went all in and ended up in cap hell, unable to compete for years afterward. It is a cautionary tale that every front office keeps tucked away in their desk drawer. So, where does that leave us? It leaves us in a state of suspense. We are watching a team that is talented enough to be a contender, but hungry enough to look for more. We are watching a league that is constantly evolving, where the difference between a championship and an early exit is razor thin. And let's be real about the player at the center of this storm. Max Crosby isn't just a stats machine. He is a leader. He is a high-motor player who sets the tone for everything around him. Even the rumor of him joining a team changes the energy in the building. It forces opponents to respect the threat, to adjust their protection, and to play a little bit more cautiously. What about the fans? You're the ones who make this game what it is. You feel the highs and the lows. You invest your time, your passion, and your energy into this team. When you hear these rumors, you feel the potential of what could be. It is part of the tribal experience of being an NFL fan. It is what keeps us glued to the screen, refreshing our feeds, waiting for that next notification that changes the landscape of the league. Think about the mechanics of a move like this. You have to find a partner. You have to agree on value. You have to navigate the complex web of contract restructuring. It is a monumental task. It's like trying to move a mountain without disturbing the landscape. Most of the time, the pieces simply don't fit. But every once in a while, in the rare moments when the stars align, it happens. And when it does, it changes the trajectory of a franchise forever. What's next? That is the question that haunts every fan. Will there be a real move? Or will this all blow over by the time the real work begins on the practice field? The beauty of the NFL is that we never have to wait long to find out. The news moves fast, the games are intense, and the drama never ends. As we look toward the future, we have to keep our heads on straight. We have to look at the facts. We have to understand the nuances of the game. We have to appreciate the complexity of building a team that can compete at the highest level. And most importantly, we have to enjoy the ride. Because at the end of the day, that is what this is all about. It is the story, the struggle, the pursuit of greatness, and the dream of raising that trophy at the end of the season. Whether this specific trade happens or not, one thing is certain. This team is not sitting still. They're always looking for an edge. They're always pushing the envelope. And that is exactly what makes them one of the most exciting teams to watch in all of sports. They keep us guessing. They keep us on the edge of our seats. And they keep us coming back for more, week after week, season after season. Think about the players currently in that locker room. They are reading these same rumors. They are hearing the same chatter. How do they react? Do they use it as motivation? Do they see it as a lack of faith in their own abilities? The psychology of a professional athlete is a fascinating thing. They are wired to believe they are the best, but they are also smart enough to know that this is a business. The pressure to perform is immense. Every snap, every drill, every meeting is evaluated. When you add the spotlight of a major city and the expectations of a massive fan base, the pressure only increases. It takes a special kind of person to thrive in that environment, to block out the noise and just focus on the task at hand. We often forget that behind the helmets, the pads, and the massive contracts, these are just people. They have goals, fears, and ambitions. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. When you see a team come together, when you see a group of individuals turn into a cohesive, unstoppable unit, it is a truly incredible thing to witness. So, what is the takeaway from all of this? What is the core message we can take with us? Is that nothing is guaranteed in the NFL. Success is not given. It is earned. Every single yard, every single point, every single victory is a battle. And the teams that win are the ones that are best prepared, most resilient, and willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. If you've been following this story, you know that the situation is fluid. It changes with every interview, every press conference, and every leaked report. It is a living, breathing saga that evolves in real time. And that is why it is so important to stay engaged, to stay informed, and to keep an open mind. We talk about the super team era where star players move around the league, changing the power dynamics of the entire conference. It has become a hallmark of the modern NFL. It creates storylines that dominate the news cycle for months. It drives interest, it drives viewership, and it keeps the conversation going long after the final whistle of the Super Bowl has blown. But even in this era of the mercenary, there is still value in stability. There is still something to be said for a team that grows together, learns together, and builds a culture from the ground up. There is a balance to be struck between aggressive acquisition and internal development. And that is the challenge that faces every front office in the league. As we wrap up this look into the rumors, the reality, and the future of this team, remember one thing. The NFL is a game of surprises. Just when you think you have it all figured out, the league throws you a curveball. That is why we love it. That is why we can't look away. Think about the implications of the upcoming season. We have new faces, new schemes, and new challenges. Every team is starting from zero. The slate is clean. The opportunity is there for the taking. And the team that wants it the most, the team that works the hardest, is the team that will be standing at the end of the road. Whether this specific blockbuster move comes to fruition or remains a fascinating piece of offseason trivia, the most important thing is what happens on the field. The work put in during the summer months will define the success of the fall and winter. The meetings, the conditioning, the team bonding, it all matters. It is the invisible work that produces the visible results on Sunday afternoons. We've dissected the rumors, We've analyzed the constraints, and we've looked at the big picture. We've explored the potential and the pitfalls. Now, it is up to the decision makers to weigh the options and make the call. And as fans, all we can do is watch, wait, and get ready for the season to kick off. Before we go, ask yourself, if you were in the front office, what would you do? Would you go for the glory of the big move? Or would you trust the process you already have in place? The beauty of the fan experience is that we all have our own theories, our own philosophies, and our own visions for how the team should succeed. And that is what makes this community so vibrant. We don't just watch the games, we live them. We analyze them, we debate them, and we care deeply about the outcomes. We are part of the story just as much as the players on the field. Stay tuned for more updates, more analysis, and more deep dives into the stories that matter. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an unforgettable year in the NFL. The drama is building, the stakes are rising, and the action is about to get underway. When the lights go on and the crowds start to roar, none of the rumors will matter. The only thing that will matter is the performance, the execution, the will to win. And that is when we find out who the real contenders are. Until then, keep watching, keep talking, and keep being the passionate fans that you are. Because without you, none of this would be possible. The sport, the passion, the legacy, it all belongs to the people in the stands and the people watching at home. The story of this season is already being written. Every practice, every play, every decision is a chapter. And we are lucky enough to be here for every single word. So fasten your seatbelts, because it's going to be one wild ride. We have explored the possibilities, considered the risks, and analyzed the high-stakes game of professional football. We have seen how a single rumor can spark a firestorm of speculation, how a single player can shift the balance of power, and how a single season can define a legacy. The complexity of the game is what makes it so compelling, and the unpredictability is what keeps us coming back. As we look toward the future, let us appreciate the greatness of the game. Let us respect the effort of the players, the strategy of the coaches, and the dedication of the front offices. Let us enjoy the spectacle, the drama, and the pure, unadulterated excitement of NFL football. Whether you're a casual observer or a diehard fanatic, there is something for everyone in this sport. It is a game of grit, of intellect, of teamwork, and of individual brilliance. It is a game that tests the limits of what is possible, and that is why we will be watching until the very last second. We have covered a lot of ground today. We have looked at the past, the present, and the potential future. We have challenged our assumptions and explored new perspectives. And throughout it all, we have kept one goal in mind: to understand the heartbeat of the team and the pulse of the league. As we move forward, let us remember that the journey is just as important as the destination. The anticipation, the preparation, and the pursuit are what make the success so sweet. And even if things don't go exactly as we predict, even if the rumors don't pan out, there is still so much to look forward to. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. It has been a pleasure to break down the nuances of the game and to share this journey with you. There is so much more to come, so many more stories to tell, and so many more games to play. I look forward to continuing this conversation as the season unfolds, as the drama intensifies, and as the players continue to chase greatness on the gridiron. The stage is set. The actors are in place. The story is ready to be told. Are you ready for the kickoff? Because I know I am. Let's get ready for the greatest show on earth, and let's get ready to see what this season has in store for us. It is going to be epic. It is going to be unforgettable. And most importantly, it is going to be football. We started this journey by talking about a potential shift in power, a ripple effect that could be felt across the entire NFC East. We talked about the ambition of a team that refuses to settle for anything less than a championship. We talked about the delicate balance between risk and reward, between the desire for immediate success and the need for long-term sustainability. And through it all, we have been reminded of one fundamental truth. In the NFL, the only constant is change. Teams rise, teams fall, and legends are made. Players come and go, but the spirit of the game remains the same. It is a game of passion, of perseverance, and of unyielding commitment to the pursuit of excellence. And that is why we are here. That is why we care. And that is why we will never stop watching. So, as we prepare for the challenges ahead, let us keep that spirit alive. Let us stay engaged, let us stay critical, and let us stay passionate about the game we love. The road ahead is long, but it is paved with opportunity. And for those who have the courage to chase their dreams, anything is possible. Thank you for being part of this incredible community. Your voice matters, your opinion matters, and your passion is what makes this all worthwhile. Let's make this season one for the history books, and let's continue to support our teams with everything we have. The kickoff is almost here, and the excitement is palpable. Let's do this.